Hello guys and girls, in today's Java Full Course for Beginners 2026 edition, we are going on our course 12, so that's a good thing. For it means that you are getting started and you're trying to be great and good in Java. So on this course, we're going to be going for error handling, try catch, and finally block. Then with I added regular expressions because I hardly come across videos like that in Java, so I just decided to add regular expressions to this. So it helps you guys get more understanding of regular expressions as well with try catch and finally error handlings. Okay, let's get started. So I will open my IntelliJ IDE. You can see all our courses. So I'll create a new source package and I will name it course 12. Okay, then inside the course 12 I'll create a new Java class and I'll just call it main. Okay, our main Java class, and I'll zoom this a little bit. Okay, this too wild. Okay, like this, or let me reduce it a little bit. Yeah, cool. So to get started, I'll just use psvm tab and it gives us this, so we can run some programs as well. So um to get started with try and catch, I'll just give you a brief explanation on what it means and how you can understand it, and also open your mind to more understanding. So take notes. To understand a try and catch block, you can imagine you're doing like risky task, downloading files, dividing numbers. Something might go wrong, like in many programs. When you're programming, you see that apart from HTML and CSS, most of the times, because I don't think HTML and CSS are programming languages, other programming languages, you need a try and catch block to be able to handle errors by the users, because no matter what you are programming, users, even me as a programmer, I'm always trying to crash another person's program. So you need a try and catch so the plan won't work. Okay. So you can also imagine it like a try block. I'll just type something on comments for more understanding. Just sorry, not this. Type something on comments. So you say try, then this, then you inside the try block you put your risky for your try block. And let me do it like this. Then in your inside your try block you put your risky code or something. Risky code inside the try block. Then after the try block you must need a catch. Then you let me say catch, then catch what type of error do you want to catch. Inside this parentheses you call the name of the exception type. Let me just say exception type, and this is just a comment, then the name of the exception you want to type anything, then another curly braces. Okay, so then inside the curly braces for the catch, you now check what to do if something goes goes wrong. Okay, so this is how the format we're using for a try and catch. We say try, then the risky code into the try block, then catch, then the exception type you want to catch, then name, any name you want, then what to do if something goes wrong. Okay, so I will just go down to the next code like this. Let me say end and tab. Okay, so the same thing we have. So we you can take a try block like if you are driving, just you hope nothing bad happens, but in case something bad happens you catch it. Like if something does go wrong, then the seatbelt activates and saves you from crashing the whole program. Okay, so let's give a simple example. So I'll give a result called int results is equals 10 divided by 0. So initially computers can divide 10 by 0. Even though it's giving me a yellow squiggly line here, it's showing an error, indicating an error. So since, let me print it out, let me print the result out so you see what happens. Then if I do SOUT tab and print out the results and I'll run the program, you see what happens. 10 divided by 0 would give us hold on, it takes time. It gives us an arithmetic exception. It can't divide by 0. Okay, so you see code finishes with exit code 1. That means there is an error in the code. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is you surround this by with a try and catch block. So I'll just click enter, then outside I'll say try and the curly braces, then I'll just close it right here, and no, not there. I'll just close it right here. So you see, I put the risky code. You see our formatting way. Let me just close this system a little bit and zoom this in a little bit. So you see, try, then the risky code, then catch, then the exception type and the name, and what to do if something goes wrong. So now we're in our try, we put the risky code there. Okay, so we put the risky code inside the try block. Then what we need, since it's giving us an error here, every try must have a catch. So you say catch, what kind of error do you want to catch? So exception type, which exception type do you want to catch? We say arithmetic exception. Then what's the name? You can call it anything, but you see most people using E. Like for exception, some people use EX or anything, but I'll stick with E. So arithmetic exception E, that means it will handle it very well. So then what to do if something goes wrong? Then for the arithmetic expression, if this error occurs, what should we do? Then we'll print out you can't divide by 0. Okay, so now if you run the program, if I should run the program, you'll see that it won't give us an error again. It's catches it safely. You can't divide by 0, and it still makes our program look cool. And you see processed finished with exits. Let me zoom this out. Process finished with exit code 0, so there's no error. Like there's actually an error, but it handled the error very well. Okay, so our program doesn't crash. But you see, there isn't an arithmetic expression. Then what if we have another error, like let me say hold on, let me show you guys something first before I move to that side. So if I print something like this, SOUT tab, and I'll just say program continues. So in Java, if you have an error but you handled it very well, it will continue the program. You can see you can't divide by 0, then program continues. If you handle the error very well in Java, it continues the program. But in Python, it just breaks everything after the error message. But in Java, it continues the program. Okay, so that's just what I'm to show you guys. And then next, other things, exceptions, we have arithmetic expression, which we have shown you guys now. We have null point exception, we have array index out of bounds, we have number format exceptions as well. Okay, so I'll just give a little bit of illustration on each of the exceptions so you have understanding of it. So inside our try block, I'll just delete this code and I'll say string. So what I'm going to check now is a null pointer exception. You'll see what I mean. So string of texts, we'll just give the text a null value. Okay, then let's print out let's print out the text dot length. So you see it has a null value, so you can't print out the length, so it's going to give an error. And I want to show you people something again. So if I run the program, you are seeing an arithmetic exception here, but it won't give this because this is not an arithmetic expression, so it won't handle it safely. So you do shift. If I run the program, it still gives an error. You see, let me zoom this out a little bit. So it still gives an error, and it's a process finished with exit code 1. Okay, so you need a null pointer exception, not an arithmetic exception. Okay, so if I just change this arithmetic expression to, like, let me say null pointer exception, I'll just change this to null pointer exception. And what's the name of the exception? I'll say E is the name of the exception. Then what will be the thing? What to do if something goes wrong? I'll say let me say oops or something like oops, that variable is null. Okay, so then program continues again. So if I run the program again, since we are now handling the correct thing, it say oops, that variable is null, and program continues. Then you see process finished with exit code 0, no error. Okay, so you see it's not that like no error, like it just shows that you handle the error safely. Okay, so there's another thing that you need to know in exceptions as well. We have an exception. You see most programmers using it. So this is just to catch any unnecessary exception that you didn't think of, especially if you're collecting inputs from users. I think it's very good practice to use this exception E in case. So you just say SOUT tab and be like, you can just say something went wrong. You can see most programs, if you try something or if you try to crash a program that is like way beyond what the programmer can think of, it might just say something went wrong or something. I know you have seen programs saying something went wrong, something went wrong. It means that it couldn't catch the exception. Say if it doesn't know about the exception, then you just use the total exception for everything and just say something went wrong. Okay, now you see it's if I run this program, it uses the null pointer exception. It uses the null pointer exception. But just imagine that I was still dividing by 0 and we have a null pointer exception. Let me say int result equals 10/0. Then I'll print SOUT tab. Then I'll print results. You see it won't use the null pointer exception again because it's not the correct exception that it's handling. So it will just say something went wrong. That is the total exception that you can use in case you can't identify or maybe you can't memorize all the exceptions. You can just use like the total exception for handling and everything and say something went wrong in case. But it's not good practice, but it still works that same way. So we also have array index out of bound exception. Okay, this will be the last one I'll try to explain. Then if you are creating an array, I'll say array int, say how to create an array of numbers is equals, so how many numbers should we have? So index of 0 and index of 2. Sorry, index of 0 and index of 1. So we have like 2 elements in our arrays. So imagine we now want to print out a user want to print out numbers at index of 3. It would give an exception. So watch what will happen. It would skip the null pointer exception and just use the total exception. So if I run this program, you'll see again something went wrong and the program still continues. Bear in mind the program still continues as well. Okay, so and then if we replace this null pointer exception with array index out of bound exception, then we'll now say, let's just give a different error message to make it more cool. We'll say index is out of bounds because its index is out of bound. Okay, so now let's run this shift F10. You see it now says give the correct exception, index is out of bound. So it's very good practice to always use the final exception, like the total exception in a try and catch block after, because you can mix as many catch as you want. You can also still under here as well, you can still like catch other things, keep catching, or let's say you can still use many catch blocks, keep catching many errors as possible. But it's just best practice, you catch the particular error, then under the particular error that you think might occur there, you will now use the catch, yeah, for the error. But make sure it's very good practice to always include this in case you have like some unforeseen errors that you were not able to notice on time. So then let's use like a finally block. So this finally block is mainly used for closing files and many other things, so you won't forget about it. So if I put a finally, so all a finally does is no matter what, it always run. Okay, so let's say this runs no matter what. So no matter what, they finally always run. Don't mind the yellow error, but don't mind the yellow warning here. It's just IntelliJ trying to do its thing. So it's not necessary in this program. That's why it's showing me a yellow warning. So then imagine like I have a different exception that is not handled like this. So if I just say int result, let me see if this would work. Result equals 0 is equals 10 divided by 0, then yeah, 10 divided, then I should print the results. Then if I should run this program, hold on, it said something went wrong. This runs no matter what. Okay, so you see the finally block always runs no matter anything that happens. It always runs. Let me see if I remove this exception, if it would work properly. So if I remove this exception, okay, so let me remove the exception and run it. Let me see whether if it gives an error, if the finally block still, yeah. So you see it still gives an error, arithmetic exception divided by 0, but the finally block still runs no matter what. Even if it gives an error, the finally block still runs. So mostly finally is used for closing a file, so you won't forget. So after everything, working with a file or anything, you put it into the finally block to make sure that it executes no matter what, to make it safe for programming. So apparently that is all you need to know about try and catch. So this video is long, but I will try to fix in regex. I'll try to fix in regex expression for you guys. So for you can make sure, and again for try and catch, make sure you always use your try and catch block when accepting inputs from users. Okay, so I'll just delete this and go forward with our our regular expression. Okay, so then I'll tab in. Then starting to get started with regular expression, we have to import a module in Java. We'll call it java.util.regex. So regex is very, very important. Then what we're going to do, let's import every single thing related to a regex. Just like in my SQL, you use this for every or. So you use this. Okay, so import java.util.regex or all the whole modules in the regex module. Okay, so let me just briefly explain what regex is. It's called regular expression, but in short notations or short forms, it's called regex. They're like search patterns used to match text, emails, and phone numbers. It's just like a certain amount of code that you can understand is used to match text, emails, and phone numbers. And yeah, so it's like a smart meta detector. Like if it finds exactly the shape or pattern you describe in the pile of words, you can see most people using regex in Java for emails, phone numbers, zip codes, and other things. So all you need to know in regex is I'll just give some beginner friendly regex pattern that I understand, so you guys can maybe know it as well. So if you see something like dots, these dots means, I don't know, I'm going to be typing it. These dots means any one character. Okay, so these dots, just these dots, I don't know, I'm going to identify that it's just these dots in a regular expression. It means just only one character. Then this one, like this square braces, then let's say ABC. What it means is that it's match either A or B or C. Okay, so we have something like this again. So we have like this upper quotes, then ABC. So what it says is not A or B or C. Okay, which one else? Yeah, then we have something like this, A to Z. Then what it means is in regular expression, it means any lowercase. Okay, so any lowercase from A to Z. So we also have, you can also use capital A to Z, it means any uppercase as well. So then we also have again, this one is very important for especially looking for phone numbers /D. So what it means is, oh shit, what's the problem? I think I just, okay, yeah. So we have a one they're calling slash d, like this, slash d, escape sequence d, then it means any digit. Okay, so any digit for like usually used for phone numbers, from any digit from 0 to 9. Let's say 0 to 9, like this. Then we also have slash w. What it means in regular expression is character any word character, like it's very biased, like I won't say biased though, but like it's very widely used. It can contain A to Z, or it can contain capital A to Z, or it can also contain 0 to 9, and also contain underscores and many other things. So it's very widely used, this slash w. So we have other important ones like slash s. Slash s is talking about any white white spaces, so it contains white spaces, it contains any white spaces. Then we also have uh yeah, these ones are just the important ones. Now let me just list the important ones. So I'll round up. I think there are lots of regular expressions that you need to understand, but I'm just giving you guys the basic regular expressions that you can understand. So this one is mostly used. It means it starts offline, like it's something like this. Now I'll not use this. I'll just say, so this thing, it means starts offline. So this is the line. So this means that, let's say if you put this before anything, okay, I will give an example of how we're going to use it. Then this one is the dollar sign. Sorry, the dollar sign, it stands for end of line. Okay, so we also have the last one. I think I'll just make this one the last one so we can move forward. So n, maybe any number you want, it means exactly n number of repetitions. Okay, so these are the basic and mostly used. Okay, not spell this word, I was giving this repetitions. Okay, so these are the basic and mostly used regular expressions in Java that you need to know. So the next thing is I'll just use like something like this. Let me say, to print out something, I'll create a text named, let's call the text string text is equals. So what's the string of text? I'll say my email is hello@example.com. Anything you want, example.com. Okay, so then what is the pattern? There is a class and a function in regex that is called pattern and also called matcher. So we say pattern is equals pattern, just like Java, just like Python, I mean to say, but a little bit of something. So pattern equals pattern dot compile. So what does it want to compile? So what's the expression that it wants to compile? Now let's use what we learned at the beginning to show the regular expression we want. Okay, so I want to compile an email regular expression, so it will match and make sure that it's like an email, it's collecting a perfect email address. Okay, so I'll just call this. So what I'm going to do is, sorry, what's wrong, okay, square braces. Then I'll say it should accept, what should it accept? It should accept A to Z for the beginning. At the beginning, accept A to Z, then capital A to Z, then also 0 to 9, and it should accept full stop, then underscore, percentage, plus, or minus at the beginning. Then after the first thing, like hello at this, a hello or anything, maybe you can say 123 at this, or maybe anything. That is what this first one is. Then after accepting this, it should accept plus, then we can say at. This at means then it should make sure that there is an at after all these things. Anything the user wants, he can either enter a capital A, B, C, anything 1, 2, 3, anything dots, underscores, and stands. But make sure that after that you enter a an at symbol as well. Then we'll also do the same thing. Then after the at symbol, we should also accept A to Z and capital A to Z, and again let me just accept just dot and underscore. Then the next thing we're going to be accepting is plus. I will just escape this, then slash slash dot. So after the at and this thing, it needs like a dot, okay, dot. So the next one after the dot, we also need to accept like another information, because here we can accept something, then the at, then the another thing, then dots, then we need to accept like something like 2 or 3. So what I'm going to do now is what should we accept? I'll just do, then this one will just accept only a small letter A to Z and capital letter A to Z. So we don't want the user to be able to enter like long things after the dot. We just need like 2 or 3 numbers after the dot. So I'll just use my curly braces and do 2 and comma. So this means that after the dots you can also only enter 2 numbers, 2 or 3 numbers or stuff like that. So you cannot enter just one number or anything. So this is the compilation. You can do your research. This is how to verify an email using a regular expression. So we are just compiling the patterns, okay? The next thing we're going to do now is then we'll match it with the user's text so we can find the email. So we use another class named matcher equals, sorry, equals pattern. So we are now calling the instance of this pattern class pattern. We'll call the function called dot matcher. So pattern dot matcher, what do you want to match? We want to match the text to check if it's correct, it's accurate. So after matching the text, what I'll use my if statement. So if matcher dot find, I will now do something like SOUT tab. So if the matcher finds the email address, then what should we say? I'll now print out a message like found email where. So I'll now call the matcher dot group. Okay, so if I run this program, you see email found hello at example.com. So what it does, it's go through, see I gave it a pattern that it should use, so I compiled it. This is the pattern it should follow. Then match this text, then call the pattern, then say match in this string of text that we did earlier right here. Then if you find anything that match, then give out the group of things that match. But this program I just did now is not interesting. The one I will want us to do now is let's use a while loop to keep asking the user for an input. Okay, say the user enters a correct email address. I'll just make this quick. I'll just delete this. I won't delete the compile, so we can use the same pattern of our email and work with it. Okay, so I'll just reduce this so you guys can see our regular expressions. Then I'll soon delete the pattern. Just I want to I'll copy the compile that we wrote earlier. Then I'll just call string email regex. So is equals. So I'll just call the pattern, this pattern here, like this. So I'll just copy this pattern. Hold on. Control C, Control C. Okay. So now time to delete this one. Okay, I'll just delete this here. So the regex we're going to search, the pattern we're going to search is this. I'll just cover it. So it's not a must that it's exactly the same pattern you use for your email. You can use your start with and end with as well. This starts with, so you can use it like this. Starts with this and end with something like .com. So I'll use my $sign at the back as well. So you can use something like this as well. So the next thing now is I will import my console as well. I will import, so we can collect users inputs, java.io.console. Okay, then up after this comment I'll also say console console, because this is what we're using in 2026 to collect users input, equals equals system dot console. Okay, so that's it. So the next thing, we are now ready to collect users inputs. So there is the our regular expression. So let's compile it using our pattern class. So I'll now call pattern the same way I did the console. Pattern equals, then pattern dot compile. So what are we compiling? Let's compile the email regex. Okay, so now I saved this regular expression into a string, then I'm compiling it inside this pattern dot compile. So this is the pattern we're going to be looking for to check if it match. Then the next thing we're going to do is I'll just call a variable called string user email. Okay, so string user email, and I won't assign anything to it yet. Okay, so firstly, then what I'm going to do is SOUT tab. I'm going to assign something here now for it. So I'll just say print, sorry, and I'll say enter a valid email, enter a valid email or something. Then what am I going to do? I'll save it like email is equals system, no, then sorry, not email, user email is what we said. User email is equals console dot read line. Okay, so since we're using console not scanner because of 2026 edition, so we're using console not scanner for 2026. So then we're going to match. So we use our pattern called matcher equals pattern dot match dot matcher, I mean to say. Thanks for that. Then user email. Then we're going to match if it's the same thing. If the user's email match the pattern, this our pattern that we compiled here. Okay. So then let me use my while loop to keep asking the user. Then I'll create a while loop and I'll say while. So it keeps going as long as the matcher dot matches this dot matches, yeah, as long as it's not, the matcher do not match the email, as it keeps going, as long as the matcher, this thing is not, it's a negative operator. So as long as the matcher doesn't match, what we will now ask the user again, we'll say, let us firstly we'll print out invalid email, please try again. Okay, then we'll now prompt the user again. I'll just copy this right here and prompt the user again on this, Control C and Control V. Yeah, so you will prompt the user again, then we'll recreate a matcher with new inputs. So we have to like recreate a new matcher because we're using a while loop, so we have to like repeat almost everything we did earlier. So I'll just copy this one as well again, and yeah, right here. So after it's, let's just print something like SOUT after the while loop. If the user escapes from the while loop, I'll just say valid email detected or something. Yeah, so it would be cool. So that is it. So before I run the program, let me briefly explain what it does. So firstly, I imported my regex expressions, our console for collecting users input. So this is just explanation of everything, that how a regular expression and its meaning, you can just jot it down or something. Then console equals system.console 2026 edition of collecting users input. Then string email regex. So these are our regular expressions. It starts with any number, then it must have an at symbol, then it goes with any other thing, then it must have a dot, then it ends with just two or more letters, A to Z or A to Z in caps lock or anything. Then we now compile this expression with our pattern.compile. Then we ask the user for their email and check if it matches. If it doesn't match, we use the while loop to go to keep asking the user till it detects something. So if I run this program, uh, Let's check it out. Then enter a valid email. If I don't say enter invalid email, please try again. Enter invalid email, please try again. Okay. Anything, maybe let me say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, like this. Invalid email, please try again. Okay, I'm tired. Let me just enter my real email. So I'll just say hello at example.com and enter. Valid email detected, and the program ends. So that is how most people use regular expressions for validating email and phone numbers. So initially you can also say phone numbers, but you can use the digit function, the slash d for phone numbers. Maybe you say slash d 3 times, starts with slash d, depending on how you want to detect the phone number and stuff. So that is it. That is all I have for you guys today. Okay, hope you learned something new, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can stay up to date on my latest video, and leave a like and comment as well. Your feedback will really help me create better content for you all. Thanks.